Welcome back to JT Supercoach. Round three in the books, 1,189 the score. Not great, but I am getting green arrows just because how bad my initial start was this season. I actually don't think I went too badly when I look at the scores. I got around 1250 for both the first 2 weeks. It just happened that this year a lot of scoring was done from the extra six agains rule, which turned out to be a big deal. I loaded up on tackle bots and more defensive players, just thinking, start of the year is usually a bit slow in scoring, and you want to go for the people with those stat differentials. But actually, most of the high ownership guns actually fired in the first few weeks. So that's why I'm starting a bit on the back foot. 43,000 rank at the moment, but I like the squad value coming along slowly. This week is another week that I would have hoped to have a few more trades up my sleeve or maybe have boosted last week. I did have the boost ready to go last week and was looking at Finafuyaki or Luki, but I actually didn't pull the trigger. Um, but you'll find that this week I've had to get Finafuyaki in anyway, just because of the Rabbitohs Carnage being down four Rabbitohs players, Payne-Haas going down, and Ryan Couchman getting that suspension. It's just thrown my team into disarray. I'm having to play Pezzett this week, which is against the Penrith Panthers. It's not ideal, but I think I'm not going to flip my team upside down trying to trade out Cody Walker, keeping Pezzett benched, and maybe wanting Walker back later on. I think for me, at the price point, I'm happy to run Cody Walker into the ground until if he gets injured, I'll have to trade him out. But until that point, Rabbitohs look good enough. They're my team. Left side's got strike weapons everywhere. I trust him to make the right decision. I think Cody's a hold at the moment, and I'd rather play Pezzett 1 week and just cop it and get my team better in other areas rather than panic trade to Walker to Purdue or something, and then be even behind the eight ball because people already own Purdue, and Purdue has a maybe reigning matchup against Melbourne Storm this week. It's not looking the best for him either. So just tossing out my 5/8 options. 5/8 isn't the only position. I'm thinking I have to get Reece Walsh in this week. And not happy with Mitch Moses either. So I'll go over my trades a bit later on. I just want to go over the top trades this week. It looks like for both in the all top coaches and top 1% of coaches, Jackson Ford is the number one trade in. He had that one score of 120 last week. I believe he scored as well with a line break. I looked at his numbers earlier. His base was in the 60s. His numbers, his minutes were inflated, playing almost 80. He looks like a good option. I'm just not too sure about them easing Barnett back. Barnett played 35 minutes, I believe, and it looks like he's going to have to find another 30 minutes from somewhere. And at the moment, he took minutes from Fisher Harris, but I'm just wondering if Jackson Ford, comes down in minutes. I saw that in previous years playing front row, he probably was around 50 or 60 minutes. So I wouldn't expect going forwards that he'd be playing 70 plus minutes every week. So you just have to keep those temper those expectations a little bit. I do think that he's priced around what his long-term average is going to be. Whether you think that New Zealand's going to go on a hot streak from here on out, might be worth buying Jackson Ford at 670k. Second, you got Tom Jenkins and Stefano. I probably am more happy to go with Tom Jenkins here. Weirdly enough, I think that for front row, unless you're trading like a front row two, so like a Keon down to Utoika Manu, freeing up some cash. Utoika Manu's got good stats for the last 3 games, and Melbourne front rowers have been known to potentially cross the line, just with Harry Grant doing his thing at hooker. Um, yeah, actually, maybe I take that back. But it just Panthers have been on such a run, and for 2 years now, whole of last year, Toto's not gotten that many tries. He just purely because he's playing on the right hand side of the field. Jenkins was a great cheapie last year, came up all the way up to 650k or something like that. He hasn't had the most base, but he scored 4 tries on the weekend. And I think that just that left hand side, the Panthers left, it just seems to always get out to the wing. Um, so yeah, 134 last week, another negative break even, I believe. Look, if you want to buy Jenkins for 100k, 700k, yeah, you could trade maybe a Carraz to Jenkins. Um, Not enamored with either of these choices though, Jenkins or Utoi Kamanu. Tanner Boyd, um, if I wouldn't do it, I couldn't do it myself. I think that's why you see ranked in the top 1%. Also, players are not doing it. The week was last week to do it. And Tommy Turbo. I think Tommy Turbo, I would buy him. I think out of all of these picks, I believe Tommy Turbo is the best, is the one that I'd do the most, I guess. It's just that fullback slot seems a little jammed up at the moment. So you'd see, a fair amount of people trading out Keanu Kinney just because he's got 50 or 60 for the past few weeks, priced about what he's getting. I believe in the Titans, and I think that from what I can see, the fullbacks that have done well recently, that maybe years past haven't done so well, it's the smaller speedster type fullbacks. We're talking about the extra six agains, and we're talking about the speed of the game, fatigue. Sua's going crazy. Um, it's not always the sweeper that gets the points as well. So Jai Gray went well this week too. The sweeper in the new stat system doesn't always get that try assist or line break assist either. So, the other type of fullback, the slicer, the one that actually runs through the line themselves, doesn't maybe bulldoze as much. I feel like there's decent upside there. So I'm going to hold on to Kinney, and you'll see my team later in the slides. I'm also going to hold on to Keon, and Payne Haas as well. I think I'll give him one more week, and I genuinely don't have enough trades this week to deal with the Carnage. So I'm keeping Payne Haas too. Moving on. So we've got the watch list. I was talking about Jackson Ford before. I think he's going to end up as a high 50 minutes guy in the front row. And he only got higher minutes as a second row, which was about 2 years ago. So I think he will be a 650 guy. I'm not too interested at the moment. I'm running Noah Martin into the ground for feeder. My 2RF is pretty stacked, and I'm not looking at that. Jenkins, yes, maybe. 700k seems steep, but on the hottest team right now, on the hottest side of the hottest team, I couldn't doubt you if you went with Tom Jenkins. Leka has a short-term play, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I'm just worried about him going back to the bench and being an impact player, because that probably is the best thing for the team, because he'll score the same amount of tries coming off the bench or playing the whole game. So, yeah, I think just New Zealand has been on a hot run, and it's hard to invest now. I think the week would have been last week for Tanner Boyd or Leka. Samuela Fainu from the Tigers. I was looking at him earlier, about 500k. He was sitting his left hand second rower, so he was sitting outside Jerome Luai. Jerome Luai does like to take the ball away from the left hand side by jinking back in field. But I think it's going to be a net even. I think without the leadership of Luai, you're missing a main half. Maybe you don't get down the field as often. maybe players are just a bit more disrupted. So I think it's a net even. Not having Luai and having a bit less attack in your team, even though you may see more ball, get more base. Hamish Stewart is also one that I've seen going around. I looked at him to start the season. I think he's around 400k right now. I would say Hamish Stewart is a buy if you're looking for someone in that range in 2RF. You got both the Cashman brothers out this week. Someone's got to pick up the minutes. Toby should come back the week after. But you have Ryan out for 4 weeks on a suspension. And then he's got another buy, I believe, in round 9. So you're not going to see him for 5 weeks, which is why I've sold this week. Yeah, I think Stewart, out of all of the other Dragons forwards, it's the most appealing option. He had decent base, and I used him as a cheapie last year. I think he went up from low 200Ks to about 400 and something K. So with the inflated minutes, I think he'd reach 500, 550. But yeah, I think I want someone more playable week to week, personally. Sell list, Payne Haas, you could if you need the money, but I'm not going to. Couchman, Ryan Couchman, yeah, I've got him number 2. I think he's a sell. I would say 70%, 30% keep. Maybe if your team structure, if you have a lot of, if you don't have a lot of bunnies this week, you have a lot of people you're confident in playing this week, you could keep him. It's 5 weeks though. It's 5 weeks to wait for maybe at a minimum you'd get another 200k, 200 and something k. 5 weeks is a long time to wait. I think I could make money on the side just by using one trade. I could make money, have a playable player. Yeah, I'm selling at the moment. 250k, it's makeable within maybe 3 weeks down the line. You find a 2RF who's had 3 hot games in a row, and you're there basically. So yeah, I think with the amount of money that's going to be coming in from the center wings around that time, maybe the next 3 weeks, I want to look at starting to sell some center wings. Maybe in 3 weeks' time, that's when I'll have money. So by the time Ryan Catchman comes back, plays another few games, gets his money, I'm not going to really need the money that much. In saying that, I think I have a trade for next week. I'm going Reed Marnie down to Cheese. I believe he's slated to come back right after Rabbitoh's bye, so that would be perfect. Free up about 200k, and maybe I can fix up somewhere else, maybe 5/8, maybe center wing. That's definitely happening. Yeah, Reed Marnie just looks like a sell completely. He's not getting 80 minutes anymore. He's not even doing his tackle bot stuff. I would sell him. Yeah, you could sell him this week if you got nothing else in your team to do. But I think a lot of people would have fires this week to put out. Cooper buy. Somehow I still have Cooper buy. I probably should have traded him out last week. Saved about 90k, gone to Fuyaki early, and made another 50 plus points. I'm thinking now, if Lasardi's got another 2-3 weeks till he comes back, and I still have these buys to put out on my team, he could go straight to Lasardi. And once we get more clarity on what's happening with Sean Bloor as well, Cooper Buy's got a break even of 5 this week. So I'm not in a rush to get rid of him. The only thing would be for my VC loop if I have to. He'll be a nightmare a little bit. But yeah, I think it'll be fine. Somebody's bound to score around 20 something out of all the center wing cheapies that I've got. Anyway, Mooney. Yeah, he's a sell. I actually haven't owned him, so I haven't been keeping up too much. But at the moment, he's a sell just because he's not playing, I guess. He does look good though. He looks good with the offload. Tom Chester, I think it's only 1 week suspension, so I'm keeping him. I think you should as well. He's got more money to make. Kiraz. Now, Kiraz is a difficult one. The NRL physio guys, one has said that it's a sell, one has said that you could look for a week. just because his base is down because he's playing injured. Basically, Carraz has had a history of injuries, the niggles, and like playing through pain management. So his base has not stooped this low for that whole entire time. I think he will bounce back to a reasonable amount. He will probably lose cash, maybe go down to around 600K. Just at the moment, I have too many other trades that I need to do, and I know he's sitting on the left of the Bulldogs, and that's a great spot to be, regardless if your shoulder hurts, regardless if your base is down. If you can score a try or two, like you're back in the 70s areas, I'm pretty happy to keep him for now. If you're worried about bleeding cash, that's a valid concern. But yeah, there's a lot of cash coming in at centre wing at the moment. I'm holding Carraz and Cody. I have moved things around in my team to keep Cody. It was a bit worrying that he got a try assist, and he still only scored about 34 last week. His base is not great. Um, I think if Jackson Purdue had a better matchup this week, I'll probably go to him. He is getting a bit out of range though now, 600K. So it's likely that I will just go to Monster soonish. But yeah, I'm going to keep Cody Walker for now as well. So these were my tips last week, and I'm pretty proud of some of them actually. So you'll see, I had Bulldogs beating Canberra Raiders, and that actually happened. But the margin was 8, and the actual margin was 4. I had it by 8. Penrith versus Sydney Roosters. I thought I got this pretty spot on. I just doubled. The Roosters score, and I had half the Penrith score. So it was actually 40-4. Penrith was, I said 20, and Roosters get 8. So it just goes to show that Penrith is really, really difficult to stop right now. It's hard to even score against them, and they're piling on 40 points, just going left, left, left. And that Toto try was kind of crazy as well. I think I got that pretty spot on. I think Penrith is hard to bet against. So if you want to pick up any more Penrith assets, even considering the price, yeah, look, you're looking. This game is about points, right? At the moment, it looks like Penrith is going to score you the most points. So if you want to pick up any assets there, you just cop the price and then you pay it back later in your team. That's what you sort of want to be doing in this game as well, because when a team's on a hot streak or a player's on a hot streak, that's where you really want to cash in, because even your guns later on in the year, you might be going to them with your money and you're ready to play them. They have some great matchups coming up, but it's not certain that they're gonna pop off. Um, yeah. If you see that the player is playing really well, the ball's coming to them all the time, it's pretty important that you go pick up those points regardless of the price, and then you pay the price later. Melbourne Broncos, I had that wrong. I had Melbourne winning. Warriors, Newcastle, and New Zealand. I had that right. I just didn't know that the New Zealand Warriors had so many points in them. I got the Knights about right. So Knights 10, New Zealand 20. It was 12-38. So again, yeah, underestimating Warriors like I underestimated Penrith to pile on the points. Sharks 40, Dolphins 12. It ended up being Dolphins 38, Sharks 10. Um, Tigers and Souths. It looks like, I'm not too sure why there weren't as many points as I said, 36-28, but it was actually 20-16. Yeah, it seems like the Tigers defense has tightened up a little bit. It does look, I did see something in the Bunnies game. I think Latrell Mitchell made a break, and then playing the ball, there was literally only Jamie Humphries who was running after him. So it looked like there was some laziness in the squad, which I'm not too keen on. It's still, and then Jamie Humphries ended up dropping the ball anyway. But I'm happy that they won. But yeah, a little bit worrying from South that they're not, digging in fully when it's 3 rounds into the season. Um, Parramatta versus St. George. I had that really close game, 24-22. Ended up being 30-20. from the Eels, and only a Josh Adokar try, runaway try, got them outside of striking range. The Dragons really should have won that one. It was actually insane. But I thought it was going to be a close one, and it shows that Para can still pile on the points, and it shows that St. George can still choke a winning game, 13 men to 12 men up, which is not really too surprising. And the Titans disappoint once again. I had them winning 26-14, but they actually lost 16-30. So my punting's okay. I got 5 out of 8, and 2 of them were relatively bang on, I thought. I'm going to do this week's tips. So Manly versus Roosters at Four Pines Thursday night. I don't think there's any rain in Sydney for any of these games this week. I've got the Roosters winning 32 to Manly 12. Manly looks a bit shot to bits. I've got the Tigers against the Warriors. I've got the Warriors winning against the West Tigers 24-18. I've got the Dolphins beating the Broncos 24-20. I've got Bulldogs winning 18 to Knights 10. I've got Penrith 34, Para 6. So I'm reluctantly playing Pezzett. And I've got Nathan Cleary, and I'm going to captain him. Para defense is not great. Cowboys versus Melbourne. I've got Melbourne 28, Cowboys 10. And then Sunday, I've got Raiders 24, Sharks 16 in Canberra. And I've got Titans 22 and Dragons 18. Losing another close derby, I think. Let's hope that the Titans can actually pull something out. And I'm holding on to Kinney because I think that they do have the win in them. Campbell's back, and he looked good. The Titans do have really exciting attack when they can turn it on. That's why I guess I always root for them. My trades and my team. So this week I'm trading out Mitch Moses for Nathan Cleary. I'm still tossing up whether to trade Cody Walker for Purdue or whether I'm actually going to go Ryan Couchman to Kulikefu Finafuyaki. I think I'm going to go Finafuyaki just because that gives me that means I don't have to play Ethan Sanders against the Sharks, which is a little worrying. I think that if you can reduce the amount of people you're taking a punt on every week, you have maybe 2 or 3, then with the change so your lowest scoring player drops out of your team. So if you can only bet on 2 or 3 people, you're not losing too much because one of them will probably go well. And so maybe they're all center wings, right? One of them doesn't end up scoring a try. That guy will drop out anyway, and he'll score around 20 to 30 points. But if you slam about 4 or 5 center wings that maybe are cheapies or maybe don't have great base, you're liable to get 3 of them, and then maybe you have 230 scores that do count. So yeah, I think I need to shore up my base this round. So I think I'm going to get Finafuyaki instead of trading out Cody Walker for Purdue and just roll the dice on Pezzett, basically. Lastly, Latrell for Reece Walsh. I think that Latrell is a great hold. It's just that he's difficult to hold at the price point and with the amount of centering cheapies that we have. I believe in Kinney. I see that he's being traded out, maybe top 5 traded out. But Kinney, I think, has some more money to make. And Latrell, I would see him around this price point for the rest of the season, maybe. Latrell does have the big game. But yeah, if the Bunnies stop scoring tries for any part of the season, Latrell would be... His base is not the greatest, even though he goal kicks. I think 680 is a fair price point. So it's a fair price point for me to jump off because he has a bye. I'm looking at Val Holmes next week to see what he's going to do with his good run. Unfortunately, didn't have time or the trades to get him in this week. So what I have Reece Walsh VC and I have Cleary as a captain. My back three are Farlongo, Keanu Kinney, and Reece Walsh. My guns in center wing are Herbie, To'o, and Carraz. Then I'm playing Pezzett. I'm playing Cleary, and I'm sitting Ethan Sanders. I've still got Isaiah, Joe Chan, Noah Martin, and Finafuyaki that I'm playing in second row. Paseka and Arama Howe have come in for Payne Haas and Keon, who are both out this week. And then I'm playing Harry Grant and sitting Reed Marnie. I think it's decent. I think that in an ideal world, I would not be playing Pezzett, and I would be not playing one more of these centering cheapies. So I'm playing Setutu, Makasini, and Fayamani this week. I'd probably be sitting one of them this week in an ideal world. But who knows? Dragons are playing Titans. That scoreline could be insane, and both of them could go crazy. Makasini's got a proven base as well. So yeah, probably only Pezzett is the thing that I'm worried about. But hopefully Reece Walsh goes big. I swap Pezzett out for Cody Walker, put the C on Walker, do my VC loop, and we all walk away happy this week. Tell me your trades for this week, and tell me who you think that is a smoky for picking up in your team. And good luck super coaching. See you next week.